Hey guys, in my Lightroom catalogue, I currently have about 250,000 photographs, the vast majority of which were taken within a 600 kilometre radius of where I'm sitting right now. I have a photograph of every town and village, every river and beach, every lookout and mountain. I have photos at sunrise, photos at sunset, and photos at midday. I have close-ups, I have wide angles, and I have panos. Basically, guys, I've got the bloody lot. Oh, actually, I don't have any nudes, but I'm a broad-minded dude, so, DM me. So, yes, I have lots of photographs, but the problem is this. I haven't really got a use for them. I enjoyed taking them, but I didn't have any particular purpose in mind when I was building up this stupidly large collection of landscape photos. At this stage in the game, they're just occupying about 12 terabytes of hard drive space for no real reason. I'm like some photographic hoarder unwilling to ever chuck anything out and move on with my life. Sure, I've sold a few prints over the years and I've done okay with licensing my photos privately, but it's enough to buy me a new lens every now and then, not to buy a sanctioned oligarch surplus super yacht. The bottom line is that it's really fucking hard to earn anything close to a living from most kinds of photography, but landscape photography in particular is not a sensible career path if you want to eat. And it was while I was daydreaming recently, thinking about all my tens of thousands of purposeless photos, that I had a bit of a brainwave. The thought was this: hey Andy, why don't you make a guidebook about the local area, fill it with your photos, and then, flog it. So that's what I did. Well, I say I did, but I'm actually about the halfway mark now. In the late lamented show Deadwood, Al Swearingen said, "Announcing your plans is a good way to hear God laugh." I fully accept Al's sentiment and endorse the genius insight of his creator, David Milch, but I have valid reasons for talking about this now. And the main reason is that I wanted to bring you guys along for the ride, so that we can find out together whether my idea is a valid one. My intention is to make a few videos about this project, working through all the different elements so that you can see how it all comes together. It's kind of like a van build, except I'm making a guidebook. And if it all works out, it might be the sort of project you'd consider taking on too. After all, who knows their own backyard and all of its hidden secrets better than us nerdy landscape photographers? We'll find out together whether this is a good idea and whether or not it's something you guys could try too. If I score big, I'll tell you, and if I don't earn a single cent from the whole bloody thing, I'll tell you that too. Either way, it's gonna be fun finding out. So first of all, I think it's worthwhile pointing out that I have a very particular set of skills that I have required over a very long career, skills that make me well suited to a project like this. Firstly, in another life, I was a magazine and then a newspaper journalist. I earned a living as a salaried or freelance journalist for about 25 years on and off. So let's just say that the writing side of this project is not going to be an issue for me. Secondly, I was in fact an editor on several national newsstand magazines. So let's just say that the whole desktop publishing page layout side of this project is not going to be an issue for me either. Thirdly, I do of course have this stupidly large library of images covering pretty much every single subject I need to cover in my guidebook, so there'll be no licensing fees to pay or stock library fees to pony up for. Fuck you, Getty. Fourth, I've spent a good deal of time working with various tourism bodies at local, state and national levels, and so I have a pretty good idea of how to approach this subject and what I need to talk about. And fifth, I'm really well acquainted with this area, so there's no research to do. I basically just have to sit down and write the bloody thing. Alright, those are my credentials. Let me tell you about the book. The subject of my guidebook is Jervis Bay. I decided to focus on this one specific area because it is a very popular destination in and of itself. I'm also extremely familiar with the whole bay, and there isn't a corner of it that I haven't visited, explored and photographed at one time or another on land, sea and air. Jervis Bay is a neatly condensed location, which means the book will have a very specific focus. On projects like this, it's important to have easily understood parameters because it makes writing it and marketing it a shit sight easier. So the plan is to write the book, lay it out in a desktop publishing app and then sell it either as a PDF or in the Apple and Amazon digital bookstores as a digital title. At this stage I don't have any intention of printing the guidebook, but I'm producing it in such a way that I won't have to change anything if I do decide to get it printed. All the photos I'm using are 300 DPI print res images, and I have a fully spec'd out document layout with bleed guides so I could send the PDF directly to a printers if I wanted. I should also mention that I have another YouTube channel which is devoted to travel and exploration here in South Coast New South Wales. It's called The Barefoot Geek and it's been running for about 5 years at the time of filming. I'll promote the guide through that channel. So that's all the background. Here's where I'm at now. I decided to create the guidebook in Adobe InDesign. This is because I pay for the entire Adobe suite already, so there's no extra software to buy. I'm also familiar with the software, having used it on past projects such as my annual calendar. I did worry a little bit about creating the document template, but luckily enough Adobe supplies some excellent free ones. I found a magazine template that was perfectly suited to my needs and I've begun laying everything out. At the time of filming I'm about 120 pages into the guide. I've broken it down into 6 sections covering everything you need to know about visiting Jervis Bay. The section on staying in the bay is done and I'm most of the way through the section on recreational activities. I've got 4 more sections to produce, but the first 2 are definitely going to be far and away the biggest. The way things are looking right now, I reckon the whole guide's gonna come in at around the 200 page mark. But as I'm creating it, I keep thinking of cool stuff to stick in it, and so that page count does keep on growing. Here's a sneak peek at some of the sections I've already created. The stay section is broken down into 4 categories: camping, cabins, hotels and holiday houses. Obviously I can't write about every option available, so I've concentrated on only the good stuff. The best campgrounds, the best holiday parks, the best holiday houses, etc, etc. The plays section is split between those things you can see and do on the water and those things you can see and do on the land. So I've got sections on stand-up paddling, scuba diving, boating, hiking and cycling, amongst many other subjects. Sections I've yet to tackle are for eating, shopping and exploring. That last section, exploring, will include stuff like cool lookouts, historical locations and interesting drives. Once I've written all the remaining content, laid it all out in InDesign and then gone through and proofread it, I will put it on sale. I'm not sure what I'm going to charge at this stage, but it'll probably be somewhere between $5 and $10. It's my intention to keep the guide up to date and revise content that becomes outdated and or incorrect. And anyone who buys it gets the updated guide free of charge. In terms of distribution, I intend to sell it everywhere I can. There's no upfront costs to publish a book on Amazon or Apple Books because they take a cut from the sales. So I want to put it in as many marketplaces as possible. I'll also be selling in a straight PDF format from my Barefoot Geek and Andy Hutchinson websites. This generates the most income on a per sale percentage basis because I get 100% back, but it obviously won't have anywhere near the same levels of exposure that I'll get on something like Amazon or Apple, potentially speaking that is. One subject I haven't touched on is funding. There is a possibility that I could attract a sponsor of some kind who could get involved. I could also carry advertising in the back of the guide. I'm not entirely convinced that's a great idea. What I do think is a good idea is to include some coupons, QR codes or vouchers that folks who bought the book could use against things like cruises, accommodation or meals. However, I won't approach any organisations regarding this until the book's done and I have a finished product to show off. So there you go, guys. That's my next big project. I strongly believe that trying to earn money from traditional photographic revenue streams like stock photography is an absolute mug's game. I think that the large stock agencies are mercilessly taking the piss out of photographers, ruthlessly exploiting us, and making massive profits from our intellectual property. It's my hope that I can help photographers generate a bit of income from their photographs, so I'll be trying out more original revenue earning ideas in the future too. Watch this space. And while I reckon I'm well qualified to create something like this guidebook, there's really no reason why anyone else couldn't do it too on the tightest of shoestring budgets if required. If you're knowledgeable but not the best writer, you could always employ a freelance editor to kick your copy into shape, and this would not be a significant cost. The key to this sort of project is to break it all down into manageable chunks. I've been plugging away at the rate of about 4 pages a day for the last month. There's no deadline I need to meet, and I'm my own publisher, so there's no wanker boss I need to keep informed. I'll just keep banging out the pages until I reach the end. Alright guys, that'll do for this video. Do you feel inspired to make a guidebook about your local region? Did I perhaps spark an alternative idea in that capacious cranium of yours? Leave me a comment down below if I did, and don't forget to hit the old like button if you got some value from this video, and subscribe to see more content like this from me, including updates to the guidebook project. Till the next time guys, ta-ta.